evening, everyone. I'm Erica Greenway with News 3, as well as a board member with the Greater Hampton Roads Regional Crime Lines. And on behalf of our board, I want to welcome all of you to the 19th Annual Top Cop Awards. The officers and deputies we are honoring tonight have all performed heroic actions, led complex investigations, and they have saved lives. We have an officer who helped take down violent gang members, one who saved someone on the brink of suicide, and others who have given families some of the only closure they can get by solving their loved ones' cases. And beyond the impressive work that you all do on the job, many also volunteer in the community. And most of this is done every day without any public recognition. So tonight, we are honored to have the opportunity to recognize you and cannot thank you enough for all that you do. Would everyone please give a round of applause for all of the first responders we have tonight? And now, if everyone would please rise for the presentation of colors by the Portsmouth Police Department Honor Guard, followed by our national anthem sung by Chaplain Dennis Hollowell.
Detail. Halt. Left. Face. Raise it. Arms.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave a proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Order. March. Right. Face. Forward. March.
Thank you. You may all be seated now. And thank you so much to our honor guard and to Chaplain Hollowell. We have a number of special guests who are with us tonight, and I'd like to recognize them and thank them for being here with us. So if I call your name, would you please stand so that we can recognize you? Norfolk Mayor Kenny Alexander, Portsmouth Mayor John Rowe, and Suffolk Vice Mayor Leroy Bennett. I'd also like to ask all of our police chiefs and sheriffs and any other of our city leaders or elected officials to please stand as well so that we can recognize all of you for being here with us tonight. Thank you so much for your support. And of course, I have to thank all the volunteers who have helped make this event a success. our videographer, Andy Franklin from the City of Suffolk, our photographer, Shelley Coziana of the Suffolk Police Department, our cadets from the Churchland High School JROTC, and the wonderful music that you've been listening to tonight from Port Town Magic, as well as all of the sponsors who you'll see in your program book. We have a lot of great businesses who have really supported us, and so please, everyone, give all of these volunteers and businesses a round of applause as well. We truly cannot make this a success without them. Along with honoring all of our top cops tonight, this is also a fundraiser. It's the largest one for the Regional Crime Line Board, helping to pay for the 1-888-LOCK-YOU-UP number, as well as the P3 app and all of the reward money that is paid out. So please, if you'll continue to take a look around at some of the silent auction items that we have around the room and place your bids for those. We also have the 50-50 raffle that is going on. Now I would like to invite up Portsmouth Mayor John Rowe to welcome you to the city.
Good evening. And on behalf of the Portsmouth City Council, who we have sitting right before me, and I'm going to introduce them. We have our Vice Mayor, Lisa Lucas-Burke. Lisa, if you'll stand. Councilwoman Elizabeth Simmons. Councilman Shannon Glover, and Councilman Nate Clark. Welcome to the historic city of Portsmouth. Here on the southern branch of the Elizabeth River, in which settlers explored as early as 1608. So we have a very historic site here. But we're not celebrating the site tonight. We're celebrating the Hampton Roads crime line, which is pretty awesome. If you look at the statistics since 1982, they've solved over 20,000 cases and recovered over $30 million worth of stolen goods, which is not too shabby, with a conviction rate of 97%. So your presence here tonight reinforces the value and the importance of that. And for our law enforcement, we're here to celebrate our heroes of 2019. But you know, as I look out over the audience, every one of our people, men and women in uniform, are top cops. Welcome to the city of Portsmouth.
Thank you, Mayor. Now, there's something that we cannot overlook that happened in our community 5 months ago. We all watched in horror as another mass shooting unfolded, this time hitting our own community. There are no words to express the loss that we all experienced on that day as an entire region, but we are fortunate that in the midst of the chaos, our first responders did not hesitate. I'd like to invite up Virginia Beach Police Chief Jim Severa to say a few words.
Good evening. When I was asked to say a few words about 531, or as we refer to it as Building 2, a lot of emotions came through as to what happened on that particular day. But I kind of want to just synthesize it with this. First of all, it's, for me, very humbling to be in a room filled with all the award recipients tonight, for you are true heroes. Every cop is a true hero. You know, when police officers go to calls, that 911 call, most of the time there's a door. It could be a door to a house, it could be a door to a building, it could be a door to a car, it could be a door to a train. It's a door. And something's on the other side of that door, and we don't know what it is. It could be a lost kid, 6-year-old kid crying. It could be someone who was just brutally assaulted. It could be a very old person who just wants someone to talk to. It could be a madman with a gun. It could be anything. But what do all the cops do when they get to the door? They go through the door. Why? Because they're cops, and there's a virtue to what they do. On 531, there was a door. The hallway was 10 feet wide. The suspect, who will never be named, was on the other side of the door. 4 officers approached and engaged in what could best be described as one hell of a firefight. And they didn't back up. They didn't give up ground. They never moved. They never ducked, sought cover. They stood their ground because they were not going to allow him to come outside that door and do more damage than he's already done. And we thank them for what they did. Yes, one of the officers took a hit. When they finally got through the door, what did they do? They offered first aid to try and save his life because cops believe in the sanctity of life. Why did they do it? Because they're cops. And there's a virtue to being a cop. There's a virtue to everyone in this room who goes through that door. And there were more than just those 4. There were a number of police officers that entered that building, and while things were going on at one end of the building and one end of the hallway, they were extricating other employees out of other rooms, other sides of the building. And on body camera, they were carrying people who were injured down hallways, and there was carnage. And you can hear them say, "Don't look down, just focus on me," because you know what was down on the ground, right? And they did not want those injured to have to go through that. Why did they do it? Because they're cops. And there's a virtue to being a cop. Don't ever forget it. Those men and women that day proved it. They proved it to our city, to our profession, and to our country, and you do it every day that you go to work. There's a virtue. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Would everyone please join me in a moment of silence for those we lost that day and those who are still healing from the tragedy? I'd like to now invite up Portsmouth Police Department Chaplain Steve Hassel for our invocation.
Good evening. Will you bow your heads, please? Father, we thank you that we're able to gather here tonight. We thank you so much for the Greater Hampton Roads Regional Crime Lines and the work that they do. Father, I thank you for every law enforcement officer that's on the streets in any city in Hampton Roads, Father. I pray right now, Father, that you will keep them safe tonight. Allow them to go home to their families and their loved ones at the end of their shift. Father, I thank you that we get to celebrate some top cops in this area tonight. I thank you for what they do. I thank you for their tirelessness in performing their jobs. And Father, we also ask that you bless the food that we're going to receive here this evening. In Jesus' name, amen.
All right, please enjoy your dinner, and we'll start the awards back up at 8 o'clock. If everyone would like to take their seats again and begin our awards portion of our ceremony tonight. And I want to begin by introducing you to the chair of the Greater Hampton Roads Regional Crime Lines, Kathy Richards.
Good evening. I would like to welcome you to the event tonight and to thank you for your continued support of this organization. We've all just enjoyed a great dinner, and now on to the highlight of the night. I would like to acknowledge and also thank the ROTC students from Churchland High School for helping us out tonight. And also the Port Town Magic for providing entertainment. I would like to thank the directors who have served on the Greater Hampton Roads Regional Crime Line Board for your support and hard work gathering sponsorships and silent auction items. And last but not least, the police coordinators in the local police and sheriff's departments for your dedication and hard work to make your local program a success. Without that dedication, Crime Line would not be able to make a difference in our communities. The Greater Hampton Roads Regional Crime Line Board continues to offer support and leadership to the local crime line programs to assist in the fight against crime. In 2018, local crime line programs received a total of 4,593 calls or texts or app tips. 218 cases were solved, resulting in 290 arrests. $82,168 in stolen property were recovered, and $154,141 in illegal drugs were recovered and taken off the street. A total of $68,516 in rewards were approved by the local boards. These payouts would not have been possible without the support of businesses and citizens like you donating to your local crime line board. Your support tonight at this event will enable the regional board to continue to pay the cost of the 1-888-LOCK-YOU-UP phone line and other activities provided to the local boards. Thank you so much. Congratulations to the honorees being recognized tonight, and thank you again for supporting us.
You just heard all those amazing statistics, and so I'm sure you can understand it takes a lot of support from everyone in the community to make that happen. That's why at News 3 we're committed to running our Taking Action Against Crime segments, which we run weekly, featuring wanted suspects in our area. So far, more than 250 suspects we featured have been arrested. It also takes a lot of financial contributions in order to make this a success. So I want to recognize some of the major sponsors who have helped contribute to tonight's ceremony. Our platinum sponsor could not be here, but we want to recognize Finks Inc. Thank you so much for your generosity. Also, our award sponsor, if you'll please come up to receive a certificate that we'd like to present to you, the Randall Page Law Firm. Thank you so much for your support tonight. Now for our first award, our Chairman's Award will be presented by Kathy.
At this time, I would like to present the 2019 Chairman's Award. While this is a team event, it takes a good leader to oversee what goes on. This person has taken the lead on this event tonight, making sure everything is taking place as planned. He has done whatever was needed to get where we are tonight. I couldn't have asked for a better co-chair for this event. He serves on his local board and has worked very hard on getting that local board up and running with the P3 app. This year's recipient of the Chairman's Award goes to James Pope from the Isle of Wight Sheriff's Office.
I think it shows how worthy he is of the award. He just said, I don't have time for this. I have stuff I've got to be doing. All right, now I'd like to invite up my colleague, Barbara Sierra from News 3, to help me as we present the rest of the awards tonight. And as we call your name, please come up here to accept your award and remain up here until we finish sharing your accomplishments. And for our top cops, please come up with your chief, sheriff, or other department escort. We begin with the Peter G. Decker Jr. Top Individual Award to Marie Calford. Marie Calford has served the Williamsburg area, and namely the Williamsburg Police Department, by being an invaluable resource in putting together National Night Out for the last 5 years. She has spent countless hours making sure it is a success. This is a premier event that the Williamsburg Police Department uses to relay valuable crime and safety information to the public, as well as showcase the department to the citizens and visitors of Williamsburg. Marie goes above and beyond just planning and organizing the event. She can be counted on to help in any way needed. She has demonstrated a commitment and dedication to our community as she works to make our city a better place to live and work. Congratulations.
And we continue with the Chesapeake Police Department. The Senior Police Officer with Senior Police Officer Stanford Allen. As the opioid crisis hit this region, Detective Allen focused on dismantling large-scale drug trafficking organizations. His commitment has enabled his team to prosecute 28 people in the federal system and countless others in the state system. When a detective responds to a fatal drug overdose, they make it a top priority to identify the person responsible for delivering the fatal narcotic. Identification is extremely difficult. The casework put together by Detective Allen is unmatched. In total, the arrestees have been sentenced to more than 400 years in prison. In addition to his ongoing cases, Detective Allen took on a lead role as an undercover officer this year. One of those cases involved a high-ranking blood gang member with a violent criminal history. Detective Allen purchased heroin from him on numerous occasions. These purchases were tense. The suspect openly carried a gun. When 3 locations he used stash drugs, they were simultaneously searched. The suspect was in shock to hear that the extensive case was built against him. Detective Allen's lifelong dedication to public service has truly left an impressive mark on the community. Let us congratulate Senior Police Officer Stanford Allen.
Now, from the Gloucester County Sheriff's Office, we'd like to recognize Investigator Jason Schnurr. In January, Investigator Jason Schnurr moved into a new position and was immediately tasked with an impending agency accreditation. He put his head down and went to work focusing on the evidence room. The total inventory exceeded well over 6,000 pieces. Investigator Schnurr managed to return or destroy nearly 2,500 items. His dedication ended up playing an intricate role in the recent 100% accreditation score for the office. In addition to his duties as the evidence custodian, he also made himself available for call-out purposes. He's processed approximately 40 crime scenes, which included collecting evidence and capturing more than 2,400 photos. Furthermore, on multiple occasions, he has conducted a number of complex investigations regarding the unclaimed remains of deceased persons. Investigator Schnurr is a true professional in every way. His loyalty to his career, strong moral character, and the ability to build and maintain positive relationships is a direct reflection of his leadership and commitment to public safety. Congratulations, Investigator Jason Schnurr.
Next, we honor the Hampton Police Division and Senior Corporal Scott W. Anderson. Senior Corporal Anderson faces situations head-on and is eager to do the right thing. Apart from his responsibilities in the School Resource Officer Unit, Anderson maintains several instructor certifications. He is an adjunct instructor for the Division Training Academy, where he teaches both our sworn and civilian members. He is also a member of the Division Use of Force Committee. Senior Corporal Anderson takes the safety and well-being of our school community seriously. He introduced the ALICE, Alert, Lockdown, Inform, Counter, Evacuate training program to improve security. He led classes on how to proactively handle the threat of an active shooter event. During the last school year, Senior Corporal Anderson successfully provided instruction for all Hampton City schools and administrators in addition to other city departments. He has dedicated more than 150 hours to this effort without hesitation. Senior Corporal Anderson clearly demonstrates a high standard of professional conduct and recognizes the importance of quality service as a critical factor of law enforcement. Let us put our hands together and congratulate Senior Corporal Scott W. Anderson.
From the Isle of Wight County Sheriff's Office, we'd like to recognize Deputy Alex F. Johnson. Deputy Johnson joined the Sheriff's Office in November 2018 and quickly became an integral member of the Patrol Division. During his shift, Deputy Johnson is committed to community involvement. He shows special attention to the youth. He can be found jumping rope, shooting basketball, throwing football, and even dancing with the kids. Deputy Johnson exemplifies the importance of teamwork and partnership on a routine basis. This was evident when he assisted Newport News Police with a mentally ill person on the James River Bridge. He was first to arrive on scene and found this man in a very emotional state. He learned the man was a veteran and suicidal. Deputy Johnson's compassion and calmness caused the individual to eventually collapse sobbing. Due to Deputy Johnson's actions, the individual did not harm himself and was taken into emergency custody peacefully. Please join me in congratulating Deputy Alex Johnson.
And from the James City County Police Department, we honor Master Police Officer James Jim Miller. MPO Miller is a role model who others should strive to emulate. He is professional, well-rounded, level-headed, and well-tempered. MPO Miller is the department's primary SFST instructor and one of the main instructors for the Commonwealth. He has been the primary instructor here and at the Police Academy. MPO Miller is also trained officers at Crater Academy and is one of the few Train the Trainer instructors in the state. Master Officer Miller has taken a very active role during in-service with the department and is one of the main use of force instructors regularly conducting simulator training for evening shift and others. MPO Miller saw a need to train officers to deal with assaults on law enforcement and has taken the initiative to develop a lesson plan for the department. Miller also takes an active role in field training and has been selected to be an officer in charge for evening shift. Master Officer Jim Miller exemplifies the county's values of integrity, collaboration, civility, excellence, and stewardship. Let us please put our hands together to honor Master Police Officer James Jim Miller.
From the Newport News Police Department, we'd like to honor Officer Taylor R. Powell. Officer Powell was assigned to the South Precinct Watch 1 in October of last year as a probationary officer. His performance during his probationary period set him apart from both his peers and more senior officers. He was recognized as Officer of the Month his first month and has been recognized several more times since. Officer Powell's experience has matured him into a knowledgeable, skilled, and trusted police officer. Between January 2018 and March 2019, Officer Powell responded to 959 calls for service and made more than 134 arrests. He leads the shift in obtaining search warrants. In addition, during this time frame, he made 28 drug-related arrests and 14 DUI arrests. He has contributed to making Newport News a safer community for our citizens. Officer Powell's performance goes beyond just being a productive police officer. He has supported many community events, including neighborhood picnics, community walks, school supply drives, and holiday events. He also visits with kids at the Boys and Girls Club, schools, and daycares. His positive attitude makes him a strong team player. Please join me in congratulating Officer Taylor Powell.
And from the Norfolk Police Department, we are honoring investigators Ramo Ruiz, Andrew Mundy, Richard Stocks, Derek Davis, detectives Martin Zeleda, Joshua Klingerman, Sergeants Brandon Goins, Guadencio DeHaro, Joseph Jarrett, Special Agent Michael Wiley, formerly of the Norfolk PD. What started as a murder case turned into a months-long investigation that brought down members of the MS-13 gang and got thousands of dollars in drugs off the streets. This was a coordinated effort between Norfolk Police, the FBI, DEA, Virginia Beach, and state police. It involved setting up numerous drug buys with targets, spending hours translating phone calls and jail tapes, and arranging a prostitution sting. Their investigation revealed a sophisticated network of dangerous gang members that took their orders from higher-level members in San Salvador. Investigators picked off targets one by one, leading to 15 arrests. Of those, 8 were members of the MS-13. They face a variety of charges, including drugs, gang participation, murder, and sex trafficking. $140,000 worth of drugs were recovered, as well as cash and pistols. The nominees showed tireless dedication to their jobs and the citizens of Tidewater, and through their actions, a violent gang was stopped before more people could be hurt. Please put your hands together for the Norfolk Police Department and this outstanding investigation.
From the Portsmouth Police Department, we're recognizing the Homicide Unit, Detective Jonta Thomas, Detective William Baker, Detective Stanley Alexander, and Detective John Humphreys. From January to August last year, there were 9 homicides in Portsmouth, then 11 more from August to March, adding to the already stressed caseload of the 4 detectives. These detectives knew they needed help from the community and decided to do something different. They talked extensively with victims' families and gained their trust. They started getting phone calls and information that helped them start solving cases. These detectives have gone out on every case, even when they are not on call, spending countless hours on the crime scenes. They keep in contact with the families and have attended candlelight vigils and funerals at the family's request. They're getting people who traditionally do not like the police to call and provide information. Because of that, they have been able to arrest suspects within days. These 4 detectives took the unit from a 30% clearance rating to a 60% clearance rating in 4 months. It is this type of community engagement that has truly led to a totally different level of trust and respect. Please join me in congratulating the Homicide Unit.
From the Smithfield Police Department, we honor Officer William Woolley. Officer Woolley led the department in all patrol areas, including summons, arrests, and DUIs. Along with his proactive policing, Officer Woolley obtained certifications as General Instructor, Field Training Officer, and Firearms Instructor. He has worked very hard as an instructor for the department to bring fresh and relevant training to the officers by revamping annual training and the department's FTO program. Officer Woolley not only dedicates his time and training to the Smithfield Police Department and its officers, but also gets the citizens involved. Officer Woolley coordinated the department's lip sync challenge video. His idea to include the community was well received and helped to foster a better relationship with the community. Officer Woolley subscribes to the department's vision of community policing and is continually getting involved with the community of Smithfield. We honor Officer William Woolley.
From the Suffolk Police Department, we'd like to recognize Officer Corey Hubbard. Officer Corey Hubbard exemplifies the honor, courage, and keen abilities of a Suffolk police officer. In one incident, Officer Hubbard was speaking with a person of interest about a stolen vehicle. Officer Hubbard suspected that this person was concealing heroin, and it turns out that he had more than 50 heroin capsules on him packaged for distribution. He was arrested and later found guilty. Later in the year, Officer Hubbard responded to a shooting. He was the first officer on scene and had a civilian riding with him. So he had to focus not only on the call, but making sure his civilian rider was safe. He parked at the end of the block and sprinted to the scene, where he found two men wrestling for a loaded gun, with one of them already shot. Officer Hubbard grabbed the gun from the men and put the shooter in handcuffs. While holding the shooter down, Officer Hubbard was able to secure a tourniquet to the victim to slow the bleeding. Officer Hubbard has shown a continual pattern of making quick, heroic, and selfless actions in the face of danger, in addition to proactively patrolling the city of Suffolk. Please join me in congratulating Officer Corey Hubbard.
And now we honor the Virginia Beach Police Department and Sergeant Brian K. Ricardo. Sergeant Ricardo is a team player in every sense of the word. He is a leader who takes charge and is quick to develop sound plans. To cite a few examples, Ricardo was one of the initial officers to enter Building 2 on May 31st during the mass shooting and played a key role in organizing police efforts and citizen evacuations. He is a key member of the planning team for several city special events, including the Polar Plunge and Rock and Roll Half Marathon. Sergeant Ricardo has been one of the primary grant authors in the special operations, and his efforts have played a major role in securing millions of dollars in grant funding for the department. Sergeant Ricardo works closely with our military partners and is routinely called upon to help with events like the Naval Special Warfare Open Ocean Swim. Sergeant Ricardo is also the department's crisis negotiation team leader. He frequently accompanies the SWAT team for high-risk warrants as well as barricade situations. Sergeant Ricardo has been a member of the Honor Guard for 19 years. In large part, because of his efforts, the department's Honor Guard is one of the most regarded units of its type in the state. He's received numerous awards, but they do little to recognize the superior performance Ricardo has consistently shown for the agency. Let us please honor Sergeant Brian K. Ricardo.
Now, from the Williamsburg Police Department, we'd like to recognize Officer Heather Ziegler. Officer Heather Ziegler graduated from basic law enforcement training in February of 2018. She logged her first traffic summons in that month and first arrest in April of that year. She is an active participant in events involving community engagement, to include the Salvation Army School Drive, National Night Out, Cone and Coffee with a Cop, and participated on the department's softball team to benefit a supply drive for the Heritage Humane Society and the agency's own Neighborhood Resource Program. She has frequently come in during her time off to volunteer. During this time period, having nearly 3 fewer months available than most other officers in the agency, she led the entire department in arrests and traffic summonses. Additionally, she has received several letters of commendation complimenting her approach to several different incidents. Her dedication to public service makes Hampton Roads a safer community in which to live. Please join me in congratulating Officer Heather Ziegler.
From the Windsor Police Department, we're recognizing Detective Robert B. Swan. Detective Swan is a hardworking and tenacious investigator. In addition to his duties as criminal investigator, he also covers patrol shifts. Over the past 15 months, Detective Swan made 36 misdemeanor arrests, 41 felony arrests, and issued more than 375 traffic citations. In October of 2018, Detective Swan was assigned a disturbing case involving a juvenile who was being sexually exploited online. Detective Swan pored over electronic records and social media to identify the suspect and locate other possible victims. In March of 2019, the suspect was identified, as well as other victims from across the country. The FBI was brought in, and Detective Swan continued to assist with the case. While serving a search warrant at the suspect's home in Louisiana, multiple electronic devices were found containing evidence of the sexual exploitation of children. The suspect was arrested and confessed and is currently awaiting trial on federal charges. Detective Swan is a dedicated and hardworking law enforcement officer who takes pride in his work, regardless of whether the assignment is a complex investigation or a routine call for service. Let us recognize Detective Robert B. Swan.
From the York-Poquoson Sheriff's Office, we'd like to recognize Master Deputy Sean Deerhart. Master Deputy Deerhart is a leader in everything she does. She has been instrumental in numerous citizen academies hosted by this agency. She is also one of a handful of RAD instructors teaching hundreds of women the importance of self-defense. Another role she takes on is assistant team leader for the crisis negotiations team. In this position, she is constantly on call and accepts that responsibility with enthusiasm and pride. She is responsible for ensuring equipment is working properly and scheduling training. Master Deputy Deerhart was instrumental in organizing and managing the department's recertification of CPR AED. As one of the lead instructors, she scheduled numerous classes, organized them, and did all she could to ensure the agency was recertified. She has started numerous community outreach programs over the past year to include the Citizens Response to Active Shooter, Refuse to be a Victim, a Sheriff's Citizens Academy for Youth, and assisted in a new Explorer program. She has always gone above and beyond what is expected of her. Please join me in congratulating Master Deputy Sean Deerhart.
Now for our Lifetime Achievement, we recognize Major Ron Montgomery from York-Poquoson Sheriff's Office. Major Ron Montgomery has been an influential member of the team for more than 40 years. Starting in 1975 when he was 21 years old, throughout his career, he served as a uniformed patrol deputy, an investigator, the captain of Investigations Division, the captain of all law enforcement operations, and as the Major Chief Deputy. After 44 years on the job, he will still speak most fondly of his times in investigations. As commander of the Investigations Division, Major Montgomery headed a 3-year drug operation that led to the arrest of 200 to 300 people for narcotics violations. He also appeared on America's Most Wanted for a 3-year-old homicide case. The show led to an arrest 3 days after it aired. Major Montgomery has been instrumental in modernizing the sheriff's office over the past 20 years. He started in 1990 by purchasing the very first computer using drug asset forfeiture funds. Since then, and under his direction, the YPSO has been able to implement mobile data terminals in all patrol vehicles. It was also one of the few law enforcement agencies in this region to purchase taser devices in the 1990s, and was one of the first agencies in Virginia to have body camera systems deployed to the entire patrol division. Major Montgomery was the driving force in acquiring a state-of-the-art mobile command post and the development of the office's unmanned aerial systems team, which is nationally recognized. He reintroduced the K-9 program. He also spearheaded the project for the creation of a new YPSO building. Major Montgomery has received numerous accolades and spent countless hours mentoring children as he coached youth athletics. Major Montgomery is one of these exceptional people who always puts others before himself and has dedicated most of his life to serving the community of York County. The Lifetime Achievement recognition goes to Major Ron Montgomery.
Congratulations once again to all of our top cops tonight. Now it's time to announce our overall winner for the Regional Top Cop Award. And for that, please direct your attention to the screen. From the Chesapeake Police Department, SPO Stanford Allen, congratulations. Please come back on up along with your chief. We'd like to present you on behalf of the Greater Hampton Roads Regional Crime Lines with a check for $500, as well as the Regional Top Cop Award.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You know, the recognition as the top cop for the Hampton Roads community is not a competition. Rather, it is an acknowledgement of the outstanding work performed by the men and women who selflessly come to work each and every day to make life better for someone else. The selection of Sergeant Stanford Allen as this year's top cop is a high honor for which all law enforcement officers are deserving. Sergeant Allen embodies and exemplifies the characteristics which we seek in all our officers. He is tenacious, dedicated to our profession, committed to justice, a consummate team player, smart, kind, and compassionate. He is the epitome of the word professional. He is aware of his shortcomings, but equally aware of his humanity and his purpose in life, that of being a husband, a father, a son, a friend, and yes, a cop. Ladies and gentlemen, Stanford Allen.
And one more time, let's just give a round of applause to all of our winners tonight. Before everyone leaves, I'd like to invite back up our Portsmouth Police Department Chaplain Steve Hassel for our benediction.
Could you all please stand and bow with me? Father, thank you for this evening. We thank you for the recipients of the awards tonight. We thank you for what their lives mean and what their badge means. Your word says, blessed are the peacemakers. Father, protect them, keep them safe. And we just thank you for what we have seen here tonight. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you all for coming. Have a wonderful night.